Hi everyone, it's Shira Raymond again with Suddenly Single. Hi, welcome back. I'm so excited. So, I keep talking about change and how awesome it is, and you can change your whole life by changing your perspective. And most of us think that change is really difficult. But who says it needs to be that way? What we think about grows. So if we think it's going to be bad or difficult, then it's going to be. And everything is a choice in the way that we choose to view life and choose our perspective on things. It was really interesting. Yesterday, I had the awesome pleasure to go to the beach here in Israel. Unbelievable that, the end of December and it was 75 degrees, and such a beautiful day. Anyway, my friend that I was there at the beach with um, spends a lot of time. It's interesting. She expresses a lot of gratitude for everything that God does for her, but she also has a lot of frustration about things that are going on in the world that are political or things that are totally out of her control. And as I've said before, like you can't be in both places at the same time. You cannot have a high vibration by having high emotions, by being in gratitude when you're constantly focusing on all these negative things in your life. And so that's also a choice to realize that some things are just not your battle. And you don't really have any control over certain things that are going on in the world right now, politically or otherwise. And so I've really chosen to distance myself from a lot of that information because it's so frustrating when you try to share it with people who don't want to hear it or believe it or whatever it is. And you can get yourself all worked up about all kinds of things in your life. But learning when to let go, that's the secret. Because at some point, you need to just surrender and let go and say, okay, you know what? God or universe is running this world. And if I understand that everything is for the good, then I am going to trust that this is part of the divine plan that's going to bring us to this great reset, this new reality that we are moving into. And it's a hard shift because we get so hardwired in our thinking that oftentimes we don't even realize what we're doing. I know for her, she probably doesn't see where this is an issue. And I have to pick my battles, obviously, on, the things that I'm going to say to all of my friends. Because if they're not ready to hear my message, then, I could eliminate a lot of people from my life. And, she's a good person. So I'm not quite ready to do that yet. Um, But just like with those other negative messages of what's going on in the world that people are in denial about, oftentimes people are in denial about where they're holding in their life. And if things are not going 100% the way that you want it to go, or if the past didn't turn out like you wanted to, like if you're recently divorced or widowed, take the time and look at what was good and what wasn't good and where could have grown and done things differently, and take ownership for your part in the relationship that didn't work, because that's part of the growth process. And it doesn't have to be difficult and it doesn't have to be painful, but it is really like doing a lot of self-reflection and getting to understand that there are two sides to every story, and we were part of the problem. I mean, if you put it all on somebody else and you're playing the blame game and you're not taking responsibility for your life and your choices. And this show is all about empowerment and getting you to start looking at your life, looking at the choices you've made, what's working, what isn't working, and then growing in ways that you can have more of what is working or what you would like your life to look like and create that, because that's all up to you. You can pray about it, but if you do not take personal action to create those things in your life, then nothing's going to change. And you're going to be in the same miserable place that you're at and not going forward. And let me tell you, getting to the other side is so much fun and so much easier. And I'll tell you a story that happened today. I was so excited. I was talking to my youngest on the phone, and she's coming to live here with me in Israel. And I didn't realize, I thought she was just coming for a visit, but now she said that she's actually coming to live and to stay. So I was so excited. So I had a gift certificate for one of the local clothing stores here. And I decided to go in there and pick her up some clothes for when she came, and a winter coat and different things. And Hanukkah started last night. And so they're having a special sale. I didn't know about this, but they were having a special sale today. And they had us spin the dreidel. And depending on which side and which letter it fell on, it meant different things. Just like when you play the dreidel game, if you get it on one letter, you get half the pot of your Hanukkah chocolates or whatever you're playing for, or you get nothing if it falls on a different letter. Anyway, so she was the clerk was telling me about all the specials that you get, depending on which letter you get. So she said the best one to get is the Gimel, which is like G. And that one you get 50% off. So she said, give the dreidel a spin while we're adding up your charges. I said, okay, fine. So I spin the dreidel, and it was starting to slow down. I'm like, come on, Gimel, Gimel, Gimel. Because who doesn't want 50% off? But I put it out there in the world. And guess what? It fell on Gimel. So it was unbelievable. First off, this place that I went to, everything is really, really cheap there. And a lot of it's like brand new clothing, beautiful stuff. And so I got her a coat and like 6 skirts and like 5 tops for literally about 30 American dollars. So I was really excited. So again, put that stuff out there in the world, because if you don't expect miracles to happen, then they won't. I remember a few years ago, I was at a networking event. I first off, probably 3 years ago, 5 years ago, I had this mindset that, I never win anything. If you do a raffle, you do whatever. I never win anything. So, but okay, I'll make a donation, whatever, anyway. And then I changed my perspective, because you know what? I could win it. Why not? God could give it to me just as easily as he could to somebody else. And so I'm at this networking event, and all the speakers had to bring in a gift. And there was a number of speakers, maybe 4 of us. I was one of the 4. And so we had our raffle tickets, and they were in a thing. And wouldn't you know it, I won all the prizes, all 4 of them. It was really quite crazy. But the thing is, what are you putting out? What are your expectations? I live my life in miracles, and I receive miracles because I've kind of learned to expect them. I put it out there, and I live my life in high gratitude and in high appreciation. And I really try to stay away from those topics that I have no control over that are very negative. And so when I was with this person yesterday, and she was complaining and getting upset about all these things that are totally not in her control, So I have a choice whether I can be part of the problem and get into that complain mode with her, or I just chose to listen to her and just, nodded, uh-huh, whatever, but didn't engage in the conversation because I don't see a point to it. So if she needs to say whatever she needs to say, that's fine. That's where she's holding. And, she's a good friend and I love her dearly. And she's not ready to hear that she's her reality that she's creating is based on these negative thoughts that she keeps giving a lot of power to. So at some point, if she is ready to hear that message, perhaps I will give it over, but she's not ready for that now. I have another friend who's also caught up in all these same kind of things. And another friend, a healer, told her, she needs to stay away from that. And then I could agree with her and say, yes, I think you need to. It's not helping you anymore. And so she started to realize that, oh, yes, right. I see. Like, I can do what I can in here to create whatever solutions I can and healing that I can create. But I don't have to get involved and sucked into all this negative stuff and put myself on these groups and these chats where they're just going on and on and on, and it's just negativity after negativity without solutions. And so try to begin to notice what it is that you're paying attention to, what it is that you're reading or watching, or group chats that are not positive and productive, and then start to delete those or mute them and don't go on them as much, and just really focus on what is good and what is working. And the more that you do that, you are going to create this amazing life. The biggest, and I think the hardest part with all of this, just like anything, is making the choice to change. And once you've made that choice to change, then you can have the willpower to go forward, because then you made a decision. It's like an addict deciding that they want to get clean. It's a choice, it's a perspective, but you have to want it and you have to desire the change. But once you decide that that's what you want to do and that's what you want to accomplish, then it becomes so much easier because you've made the choice. So that's what I want you to take away today, is that change does not have to be difficult. It's all based on your reality, what you want to put into it, and what you want to focus on in this world. So if you really want to create magic and wonderful things in your life, then do the gratitude list. Start to notice when you're in those negative head spaces and read your list to change your perspective as quickly as possible. And you'll see huge strides and huge changes in your life. It's really, really is empowering and amazing how this works. So I would like to encourage you as well to go to my website at shiraraymond.com and sign up for the ebook, Embrace New Beginnings. It's a great little tool to help you to move forward in your life in a really positive way. And not just that, it's going to give you, it'll help me to be able to provide you with more tools in the future. So thank you so much for being with us today, and I will see you next week.